In the golden age of television, Bewitched was a massive, magical hit, centered on the charming, exasperated mortal Darrin Stephens. Dick York played Darrin with an irreplaceable mix of physical comedy and exasperated charm. Then, with no warning, he was gone. Replaced. The switch from Dick York to Dick Sargent remains one of the most abrupt and unsettling cast changes in sitcom history, fueling decades of speculation. Was it a salary dispute? A feud with Elizabeth Montgomery? The truth, as revealed by those closest to him, is far darker, far more tragic, and completely mortal. Dick York didn't leave Bewitched because he wanted to. He left because his body snapped under the pressure of a crippling addiction and a devastating injury sustained a decade earlier. The family now confirms the real reason Darrin vanished, a story that involves a catastrophic onset accident, a secret pill dependency, and the agonizing guilt that haunted him for the rest of his life. The catastrophic injury, the beginning of the end. The seeds of his destruction were sown 10 years before Bewitched even aired. During the filming of a Gary Cooper Western called They Came to Cordura in 1959. York was propelling a railroad handcar when the director yelled cut. An extra on the car mistakenly grabbed the railing York was pumping. York later recalled the moment with brutal clarity. The muscles along the right side of my back tore. They just snapped and let loose. That single moment left him in perpetual, debilitating pain, a pain he had to manage every day just to deliver the slapstick comedy required of Darrin Stephens. The network and producers loved York and tried desperately to help him. Scripts were written to keep Darrin lying on the couch or sick in bed. But the injury was degenerative, and to cope with the agony, York became reliant on a deadly cocktail of painkillers, muscle relaxants, and codeine. His career became a tragic act of physical endurance, masked by pills. The final collapse and agonizing guilt. The situation came to a shattering head during the filming of a Season 5 episode in 1969. While being hoisted onto a platform, Dick York collapsed on the set. He was rushed to the hospital with a high fever, suffering from the combined effects of his chronic spinal condition and withdrawal symptoms. It was from his hospital bed that the decision was made. Director William Asher visited him and gently asked if he wanted to quit. York simply replied, "If it's all right with you, Billy." His physical addiction and pain forced his departure, but the worst pain was the guilt. His family confirms that he carried the emotional weight of letting down the cast and crew, the feeling that he had failed everybody and left a job unfinished. This guilt was compounded by the tragedy that followed. His career never recovered. The tragic aftermath, cleaning toilets for survival. The final truth revealed by his family is the gut-wrenching struggle that followed. After overcoming his addiction in 1971, York found himself financially and physically destitute. The former star of one of television's biggest hits was forced to rely on welfare and unemployment checks. In his final years, battling severe emphysema from a heavy smoking habit, he became confined to his home, reliant on an oxygen tank. The man who had been a symbol of domestic suburban bliss was financially ruined. Yet, in one final act of grace, he used his remaining strength to run a charity for the homeless called Acting for Life, using his phone as a pulpit. Dick York's story is the devastating confirmation that his exit from Bewitched was not a career choice, but a catastrophic human tragedy, a silent battle fought with chronic pain, addiction, and overwhelming professional guilt that ultimately defined his life.